Hi, I'm Mrs. Beach, and in this video, I'm going to show you some basic navigation tools that are available to you on Tinkercad. The first thing that you need to do once you get your account set up is you create a new project. And this is the dashboard where you will start after you've created your account or after you sign in. You have a couple options. The first time you use your account, it will give you this option right here to create a 3D design. And then after that, this button that says create will always be here in the corner. And you can click on that and click on 3D design, and it will open a new work plane for you. Tinkercad gives everything a random name to make it easier to remember what you've done on this project. You want to change that name. And I generally do that at the beginning so that I don't forget. And I'm going to call this one Tour of the Basics. I'm going to be showing you around. And then you just click anywhere or hit enter, it saves the name, and then you can get started. The work plane here is where we're going to build everything as we go along. The work plane, the default measurement is in millimeters. If you would like to change that, you click down here where it says settings, and it gives you the option to change the units. So you can do millimeters, which is the default. You could do inches, or you can measure in bricks if you have the ability to do things from Minecraft on here. I'm going to keep mine on millimeters. Underneath that, it says presets. This is where you set your work plane to be the same size as the bed of your 3D printer. So at my job, I have a microbot replicator, and the default size for that is 259 millimeters by 195 millimeters. If you don't see your printer on the list, there is an option at the bottom of the list to create a custom sized work plane. And you just change the numbers here. You click make default. And then every time you start a new project, the work plane will automatically be the size you need it to be for the printer that you're using. I'm going to close this. One other thing down here I want to show you is the snap grid. It's automatically set to a millimeter. And what this does is as you move objects on the work plane, each increment of movement that it does is going to be 1 millimeter. So I'm going to show you real quick what that means. So we're going to go over here. We're going to grab a cube. I'm going to left click on it. I'm going to pull it over here and put it on the work plane and left click again, and that will drop the shape onto the work plane. Now, if I click and hold with my left button, as I move, well, here we go. Click and hold. As I move it to the side, you can see that it adds a millimeter each time I move. It's moving a millimeter at a time. The lower you make your snap grid number, the more precise the movements are going to be because it's going to move a smaller amount each time. You can also go larger if you want, and you can also move in the distance of a Minecraft brick. Those are options that you have. Our shape is here on the build plane now, and I'm going to show you over here on the left-hand side these navigation tools. The one here at the top, this is called the view cube, and what it does is it allows you, when you left click on it, to change the angle that you're looking at your shape from. You can also choose to click if on the blue box or the blue highlight, and that will show you the specific angle that you click on to look at that specific angle. Another option you have to change the angle of your shape is if you hold the right button on your mouse down, that also gives you a different angle view. So you can do it through left clicking on the view cube here, holding it down and moving it, or right click on your mouse button, hold it down and move the angle. Now we've got this kind of moved and it's no longer lined up with the front of the screen. And I'm going to click on the little house here, and that's going to return me back to my home view, which is the neutral view. So if you get, things twisted around, you just click the home, it'll put it right back here. The other option here is the fit view, which if you click on that, it's going to bring whatever you're looking at right up into the middle of your field of view here on the screen. Okay. We can zoom in and zoom out using the plus and minus buttons here. Another way you can zoom in and zoom out is by using the scroll wheel on your mouse. Zooms you in and zooms you out. Another handy feature of the scroll wheel is if you push it down and you move your mouse around, it moves the work plane. Doesn't change the angle, it just moves it so that you can maybe get a better view of what you're working on. So that's the scroll wheel on the mouse. The last thing here is the perspective and orthographic views. That just changes the look of the items. When you're in perspective view, it looks more like it would if we see it out in the real world, and it's a more flat view when it's in orthographic. I generally work in perspective view because I just prefer that. Those are the basic functions of navigation that are on here. Then if we come up here to the top right-hand side, you'll see there's an import button, an export, a send to. Import allows you to bring files into Tinkercad that you can work on. There's only 3 types of files that Tinkercad will support as an import. Once you import them in, then you can make changes to them. I use this with Tinkercad a lot because my classes like to laser cut things. And so we will create something and we will save it. Usually an SVG file, we'll bring that into Tinkercad and then we can get it ready to use on our laser cutter. Those are the 3 options you have there for importing. Exporting, you could send your project out to Fusion, which is another Autodesk CAD program. You can send it out to go into the slicing software for your 3D printer, or you can send it out as a file type for a laser cutter use. Those are the export functions. There's also a send to function where you take your file and you send it out to Autodesk. You can send it out to a website. These websites are websites where you can load files and share them with other people so that other people can use them. Google Classroom, if you're a student or a teacher, it's an easy way for you to get the project to Google Classroom. And then the last thing here, you can do a picture of the design. So instead of doing a screenshot, this would just take a picture of your work plane so that you could share that picture for whatever reason you need to. Tinkercad also has the option of doing collaborative work. If you do this invite people, you can generate a link and share that link with other people. And then whoever opens that link is an editor of your project and they can go in and make changes or print your file or whatever you wanted them to do. These other things up here at the top, this is obviously the Tinkercad view. There's also what's called the Sim Lab, which is where you can go in, and this is a simulated gravity environment. So you can try different things. I have some students who've made Angry Bird type games in the past, and then they bring them into the Sim Lab and they try them out to see if they work or not. You have an option to look at the Minecraft version of your world. You also have the option to look at a Lego version of your world. And then again, this was the inviting people to work along with you. I'm going to go back to our Tinkercad view. Let's say we're finished here with building whatever we're building and we're ready to get out of our project. What we will do is we'll click on the rainbow cube here. It'll take us back to our dashboard, and you can see it saved it with our name that we gave it. If I come back in later and I want to work on it again, I just click on Tinker This. Takes me right back into the project and I can get back to work. I'm not going to talk about any building right now because this video is already long enough. But in my next video, I'll talk to you about the basic building functions in Tinkercad. Thanks for watching.